Hey, what's going on, everybody? So you heard me play over a 2-5-1 in F, and I did a couple things in the solo. I used really good variation within my lines, and that basically helped my solo move forward. And another thing that I used was something called Sesh. And Sesh is basically an acronym that stands for Contrapuntal Elaboration of Static Harmony. So what all that basically means is when I played that G minor arpeggio over that 2-5-1, I had one note that was going down chromatically, and it was going from D to D flat to C. And when I hit C, that was the 5-of-1, dramatic pause. But something that's really cool about that as well is that I emphasize the flat 9 over 5. And that's a really, really popular resolution to have within your lines. So talking about chromaticism, I wanted to emphasize the bebop scale today because that's a really, really important thing, especially since we're talking about that David Baker bebop lick. Alright, so the bebop scale is an 8-note scale, and it has a chromatic passing tone within it, and that's going to play a role in identifying what type of bebop scale that is. So you may think that it's just an 8-note scale, but it's really, really interesting because even though it has just that one note, it plays out really, really evenly when compared to like a major scale or a minor scale or a Mixolydian scale. So I'm going to compare a C Mixolydian scale to a C bebop Mixolydian scale. So check this out. I'm going to play each one 2 times. Alright, and here's Mixolydian bebop. Okay, so what's really, really cool about this, if you notice, is that when I hit the C, it was on the downbeat, the next measure. And by the way, I'm thinking in 4/4 time. So that's really, really useful. And it basically shows how structurally even the bebop scale is. You'll hear bebop musicians like Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and Bud Powell all use this scale. And they'll do concepts like arpeggio up, scale down. And when they do scale down, they'll sometimes use the bebop scale. And they'll hear like how like they'll land right on a chord tone, and they'll just emphasize that on the next measure. So it's really, really handy to use, especially when you're playing bebop. So something else that's really cool about this scale is that you'll hit chord tones on the strong beat of the measure. So that's going to be on beats 1 and 3. And they are pretty much 4ths and 5ths. So when I did C, it's going to be C and G, which is a 4th. B flat, you're going to have B flat and E. And on G, you're going to have G and C. And then on E, you're going to have E and B flat. And notice, by the way, how that's basically all the chord tones within a C7 chord. Whoops. Okay, so if you do this on the major 7th of this scale, which is B, that's going to give you B and F. And B and F is the guide tones of G7. And when you do this, scale down starting from that, that's going to imply a 5/1. And that's a really, really awesome sound to have in your playing. There's a bunch of different people who do this, and including me in the last part of this solo, which you'll hear really soon. So talking about implying things, I also implied the minor 2/1 by using the David Baker bebop lick. And it's really, really interesting because I also, by doing this over 1, that gives me F Lydian bebop because I have the flat 5 as a passing tone. So check that out in the last part of this solo, and also I'd love to hear some of y'all's favorite licks and where y'all got them from. I'll be sure to comment back. And anyways, that wraps it up for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.